When I was 10 years old, one day my dad came from work and he parked the car and changed his clothes, changed into a pair of overalls that he could go into the garden with. Now, we were living on a very big piece of land. There's 15 acres, most of it under farming. And he went down into the garden to check on what the workers were doing. And it was around 3 p.m. when he got home. That night, my mom kept saying that she was feeling nervous, she was feeling uncomfortable, and she felt watched as she was walking about in the compound. And we settled very late, at around 11 p.m. Then my dad heard some scratching noises in the back door, and he thought it was my mom who had gone out to check on something. But as he approached the door, a sword came through the door and cut him just above the left eye. And he started retreating. He refused to open the door, and the door caved in. But then he was up in the ceiling, and he was running along through the house, and there were stones being thrown through the ceiling because it was made of soft material. And he jumped out of the ceiling into the kitchen, and he crashed onto the cooker, fell on the floor, and he jumped out, got out of the house and ran to get the neighbors. In the meantime, about 9 thieves had entered the house. They hadn't bothered to wear any masks. All the lights were on in the house, and we had scampered and gone into my mom's room where we were hiding. There was 9 children all together. 3 of them my stepmothers and 6 were my mother's. My stepmother was not home that day, and the thieves came to the bedroom. They crashed in through the door, and they wanted my mom to give them money. Only they weren't sure which of us was my mom, because some of us were very tall. My mom's not a very big lady. So they beat us all up, and in the meantime, some of them, there were others outside that we didn't know about. They had caught my dad running through the woods, and they had broken his arms and legs, and they cut him in several places, including his head. And they brought him back, literally in pieces. They brought him back, and they were demanding to have the car keys and money. And they weren't going to leave until he'd given them that. In the meantime, the rest of them heated some food in the kitchen and settled down for a meal. And they were behaving like they actually lived there, so we didn't know how long the ordeal was going to continue. And in the end, my mom told them where the money was. There was just a little money, the equivalent of 80 pence. That's all she had in her purse at the time. There was no more money in the house. We weren't very rich. And my dad gave them 1,000 shillings, which is about 10 UK pounds. And they were satisfied with that. They stole all the things that they could carry, including electrical equipment. They broke the television. They slashed the sofa set. And they destroyed anything that they couldn't take with them. And they stole 2 cars. And they drove off. And my dad couldn't walk, so my mother went and got help, and he was taken to hospital by the police. Now, the police arrived 2 hours after they were called, and they came to the neighbors first, dropped off some people there to protect the neighbor because he was a rich man and he was a minister. So they protected him first before they came to check on what was happening. So in the end, my dad went to hospital. He went to a very poor hospital because that's where the police took him, and they stitched him without any anesthesia. They stitched him without any anesthetic, and they put plasters over the limbs that were broken, and he came home the same day. And since that time, my dad has always kept a gun in the house, and he decided to protect himself because the police won't protect him. And that has been a cause of a lot of distress in my family, but to this day he still keeps a gun. And he threatens anybody with it, including his own children.